This video was made possible by my patrons, Joshua Bartlett, James Schubach, Hector Defendi, Douglas Smith, and Capitalism is Good. Thank you so much to all of you. Hello everyone, this is my 2 cents. By now, many of you may have heard of the current Supreme Court case, Masterpiece Cakeshop versus the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. But in case you haven't, here's a short clip where the owner of the Masterpiece Cakeshop, Jack Phillips, explains what happened to him.
Jack's been running Masterpiece Cakeshop for 24 years and has welcomed and served everyone that comes through his doors, but he doesn't design cakes for every event.
If somebody were to ask me to make a cake for a divorce, which has happened, and that's a cake that I had to turn away.
Jack's been asked to make anti-American cakes, cakes for bachelor parties, cakes with profanity on them, and even cakes that disparage the LGBT community, all of which he cannot make in good conscience.
I'm not going to do cakes that I would have to explain to my mom or my granddaughter when they're sitting in the showcase.
Artists turn down work all the time that would violate their conscience, but Jack's decision not to design one particular cake has nearly destroyed his business and landed him before the Colorado Civil Rights Commission.
The day the two gentlemen came in, it was a busy afternoon, and so I went around the desk and sat down with him. So what can I do for you? Well, we're here to look at wedding cakes, and it's for our wedding. And, you know, right away I know that that's not something I'm going to be able to create for them, so I told him, you know, I'll sell you cookies, brownies, birthday cake, pretty much everything that I make. That's just a cake that I can't, make.
So, to be clear, Jack Phillips did not turn these people away because they're homosexuals. He was willing to sell them any of his pre-made goods. He simply said that he wouldn't sell them a custom-made wedding cake because he believes that same-sex marriage is immoral. Now, whether or not you agree with Jack's views on same-sex marriage, or if you think that it's stupid for him to be against same-sex marriage, here's where capitalism becomes an incredibly beautiful thing for all of you. Under capitalism, if you, the customer, are offended by a business's business practices, you are free to vote with your wallet and boycott that business. Let's just imagine that if someone opened a cake shop in a predominantly conservative community, but then they put out a business policy saying, "We do not serve Christians here." Now, I strongly suspect that the libtards who are all up in arms about this case wouldn't care at all about a business who had a policy like that. However, if the community is predominantly conservative, odds are the vast majority of the community will boycott that business, whether they're Christians or not. That business owner is not going to make very much money, and he will probably lose his business pretty fast. Just because he had the right to dictate the policies of his own privately owned business in that case, doesn't mean people can't vote with their wallets and put him out of business. Under capitalism, no initiation of force is required. So long as people vote with their wallets, businesses are accountable to their customers. That being said, let's take a look at a video that was put out by the American Civil Liberties Union about a month ago, giving their libtard interpretation of this whole situation.
5 years ago, Dave Mullins and Charlie Craig were planning their wedding. They walked into a Colorado bakery hoping to purchase a wedding cake, but what happened that day was very different. The bakery's owner refused to serve them solely because they're a same-sex couple.
Abjectly false. They were not refused service because they were a same-sex couple. Jack Phillips said he would sell them anything else in his shop. He simply would not custom design a wedding cake for their same-sex ceremony because it violated his religious beliefs. They were not told that they could not shop at Masterpiece Cakeshop, only that Jack would not do a particular special order for them.
They walked out of the bakery devastated. Colorado courts found that the bakery discriminated against Dave and Charlie in violation of a state law that says businesses open to the public can't turn away customers based on sexual orientation.
For the record, the government has no business telling private businesses who they can and can't turn away. Business owners should be free to discriminate against whomever they want, just as customers have a right to discriminate against the business and not shop there. But even so, this couple was not turned away. They were only told that the shop would not make a particular special order.
So the bakery is asking for a constitutional exemption, basically permission to violate the state law solely because of its owner's religious beliefs.
It sounds so awful, right? Let's decode that. The owner is asking that the government not be allowed to force him to violate his conscience. Essentially, this lady thinks that the government should be able to threaten Jack with fines or imprisonment if he doesn't use his talent to support a cause he opposes, even though this couple can undoubtedly find some other bakery that would be willing to bake them a cake and boycott Jack's business. They could even encourage other people to boycott it as well. But no, it's not enough. The government should be able to force Jack to do this against his will.
Bakery's arguments are not new. In the 1960s, we saw Piggy Park Barbecue Restaurant arguing that its owner's religious beliefs meant it could refuse to serve black customers. In the 1970s and 80s, we saw schools argue they should be allowed to pay women less than men based on the belief that men should be the head of the household.
Yeah, they should. Business owners should be free to do business as they see fit, just as customers have the right to boycott their businesses. But even so, these situations she mentions are not analogous to what's happening here. Jack Phillips did not say that he wouldn't serve the couple, only that he wouldn't bake them a custom-made wedding cake. I wonder, if a liberal baker refused to make a cake with the words, "It's okay to be white" printed on it, would this lady be the least bit concerned?
Time and again, courts have recognized that religious views don't entitle any of us to discriminate. The same thing is true today.
Everyone discriminates, including you. Do you support the right of businesses to discriminate against white male applicants in favor of minority female applicants, even if those applicants are less qualified? Do you support the right of universities to discriminate against men who have been falsely accused of rape with no evidence aside from the accuser's testimony? I suspect you do. In fact, if we were talking about a gay baker who had refused to make a cake with a Bible verse printed on it, I suspect you would fully support that baker's right not to design such a cake.
No one is telling the bakery how to make its cakes.
False! You want the government to be able to force him to design a custom special order cake against his will.
What they are saying is that if the bakery chooses to sell cakes, it can't refuse to sell them to certain people just based on their sexual orientation.
As I said, they absolutely should be allowed to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation, race, or anything else, just like the customer should have the right to subsequently boycott the business. However, even so, that's not what happened here. He did not refuse them service. He said only that he wouldn't bake a particular cake, just as he'd done to numerous other customers for various reasons in the past.
If that were the case, any business would be free to discriminate against almost any of us, members of minority faiths, women, racial minorities, and LGBT people, solely based on the owner's views.
And when they did, you'd be free to vote with your wallet and boycott the business. That's the beauty of capitalism.
This fall, the Supreme Court will decide whether the bakery has a constitutional right to discriminate. People hold religious beliefs about all kinds of things. If that gave everyone a right to discriminate, a tailor shop could refuse to alter a business suit for women, a bus company could refuse to drive people of different faiths to work. If the bakery has a constitutional right to discriminate, then today it's Dave and Charlie, tomorrow it could be you, your family members, your friends, and your loved ones. Any of us could be turned away simply because of who we are.
But I'm guessing you support the right of gay bakers not to make cakes with anti-LGBT messages on them, right? Do you support the right of business owners to discriminate against white men in favor of minority females? How about the right of Muslim caterers not to sell pork? I suspect you support all those forms of discrimination. It's only people who don't share your views who aren't allowed to discriminate. Am I right? Yeah, you know I am. Look, I'm not even commenting on whether or not I think Jack's particular religious views are correct. The point is, this is not about gay rights. It's about government tyranny. It's been appropriately said that the same government that has the power to give you everything you want is a government that has the power to take everything that you have. And frankly, a government with the power to force a baker to make a wedding cake against his will isn't too far off from a government with the power to throw homosexuals headfirst from the tops of buildings simply because of the lifestyle they choose to live. Just think about that. Wouldn't you rather live under capitalism, where you were free to invest your own time and resources as you saw fit, and as such, business owners were accountable to their customers? That's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. You can also hit the bell to ensure you're notified every time I upload a new video. This video was made possible by my patrons, Joshua Bartlett, James Schubach, Hector Defendi, Douglas Smith, and Capitalism is Good. Thank you so much to all of you. If anyone else would like to donate and help ensure that I have the time and resources to keep putting out content, for just $1 a month on Patreon, you'll receive a shout out at the beginning and the end of every video and one of your social media links in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter, Minds.com, BitChute, WordPress, Gab, and iTunes. Uploads are every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so stay tuned for more videos.